Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Darina, co-founder of Quo. If you run a business, you know the team that responds first wins the customer. You've probably opened your phone to a bunch of missed calls and no voicemails. Those are missed opportunities and exactly why we built Quo. Quo is the business phone system that helps your team handle every call and text right away. Join over 90,000 businesses that win more customers with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/tech. That's quo.com/tech.
Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
So today we have a very special episode. We have Kara Berry from Everyone's Business But Mine, which I love that title because it's how I feel constantly. I always feel guilty or silly for talking about these things, but
right.
It's good. I'm glad you too understand
Thank you
that this is not my business. Yeah. Thank you.
It's great to meet you.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about seeking sister wives and the Valley and the fact that Brooke's never seen Vanderpump Rules and all of that good stuff. But before we jump in, tell us about you and tell us about how you started podcasting, how you came up with the name, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So this is like the third iteration of podcasting that I've been in. I did a solo podcast called The Very Good Podcast that was chronicling me, on my first journey into Bachelor Nation, and I kind of dipped right out, but it was fun while it lasted. Mm-hmm. And so I was doing the Rachel season. She was the first Black Bachelorette. And I was like, okay, this will be like a good season to like figure out what the heck is going on here. And that was fun. And then Kylie Jenner had a spinoff series called Life of Kylie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, this is going to be really bad and stupid. And I need to talk about it. So did that. And that turned into a fully Kardashian podcast that ended in 2019. And then I was like, I still want to be podcasting, but I don't want to be like tethered to anything. And also I was just feeling like the block was really hot for me at the time, hence the name Everyone's Business But Mine, because I didn't want to talk about myself. So yeah, like I just have such a weird brain full of dumb stuff, and I'm just like, why not let it out? Just let it all out,
So this is the third iteration. So what was the second? Did you do another podcast with someone else? The second was the Kardashian. Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah. And so have you always podcast all of these have been just you?
No, I had a partner with the Kardashians podcast.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So, because I'm always impressed by people who do solo podcasts, talking.
That's not easy.
Yeah.
And you do it so seamlessly. I don't think I could do that. I think I would be just kind of stopping a lot, being like, yeah, okay. It's like, you just like let it, you just have this flow, and it's like, wow.
Well, thank you. I never even considered that until people started telling me that was like something that they had thought about. So thank you. I like really appreciate that.
Yeah. And then how did so let's talk a little bit about, because we connected through this Sister Wives and the Sister Wives podcasting community. So tell us, when have you been a Sister Wives person from day one, moment one?
Yeah, I feel like I have. I mean, it's 75 years ago. Who's to say? I can't remember everything, but I do feel like I started season 1, and then I was like in and out, as you have to be with Sister Wives. You know, like it's hard to consume it all. But yeah, I would dip in and out, and then I came back like full force. Maybe like season 12. I started recapping season, I believe, 14, and it's been. Wow, what a journey since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been a journey for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think it was surprising to everyone because that show was just so boring for so many years.
Incredibly.
For some reason, we all like stuck with it. You know,
Yeah.
there was something there. And we all stuck with it, and it finally paid off. You know,
I mean,
10 years later,
and it grew. It was like a steak plant that just like you don't think that it's gonna, like a night blooming jasmine. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, this is actually something you can work with. But yeah, I was recapping it along with 90 Day Fiance. This was like the height of 90 Day for me anyway, and just being like, oh, I'll just throw in Sister Wives. Maybe somebody will care, and then well, we all know what happened. A lot of people started caring.
Yeah. Wow. So do you have a particular, like a favorite wife or a favorite, time of Sister Wives? Like, do you have some highlights?
Oh, I mean, the catfishing era is a real highlight for me and probably nobody else in that family, but I love it. And Janelle has my heart. She does have me blocked on Instagram, and it's not my fault, but I love her.
What?
oh no, what happened?
I don't know. I'm really not sure.
I think maybe they see there's so many people that talk about the show, and maybe sometimes they're just like, okay, let's just block them all. Like, I can't figure out which ones are being, being rude or not being very kind.
Exactly.
So that's what it sounds like.
I take it on the chin. I'm actively trying to manifest her back into my life, but like, I respect the fact that she needs space for me. It's fine.
Oh no. Well, you're not missing a ton.
Yeah.
She kind of recycles whatever everyone else is posting.
Yeah, a lot of like juice or water enhancer promotions. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that anywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Yeah, we've been doing a rewind that we paused, but we're going to pick it back up again of Sister Wives. And we are at the point of they're just now in all of the Las Vegas houses. And then when you see those homes and how beautiful it was like
how
big, those houses were huge.
The wet bar.
Yes, the wet bar, all of it.
Yeah.
And just the fact that it's gone, just gone.
Yeah.
All of it done.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely like the best that they could have done with that family, just like keeping them in a cul-de-sac, and maybe, Cody could just bop around from one house to the other, just running and running and running in those flip-flops. And that was really the best that they could do. We didn't know that he was spending most of his time in Robin's office, but
yeah. But no, but even still, no one wanted to leave. Remember those couch talks where he had his whiteboard and his presentation and everything. Yeah. No one wanted to leave except for Robin. And I just saw a post on Instagram within the last few days where someone posted so I think it was Christine's house that sold for like around $450,000. Well, it just sold for like $900,000. So this whole thing about the financial part of it was a lie because, the market goes up and down, but over time, eventually real estate always appreciates.
Right. But Cody spent all that time making the thing where the arrow just went up, and it only went up that one time when they had to sell right then and there. And never again would the house have the value. So they really had to, it was really, their hands were tied.
Yeah. Well, Cody, according to Cody's math. Yeah. Cody's math.
Yeah.
But yeah, too bad. If they'd stayed, they'd all be fine. But.
Well, yeah, poor Janelle would be fine.
Yeah, Janelle definitely. She'd be chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean those were huge houses, and I mean I don't know what part of Vegas that was in. I don't know if it was a nice neighborhood or not so much. I mean now if homes are selling for $1 million, I'm sure it's a nice neighborhood. And just to watch like episode after episode after episode of them getting into the houses and what it took for them to financially get in. I mean they really beg, borrow, and steal like to just get into the houses, and to think that how long did they last there? They just
Yeah.
How many years were they there? 4 years? 5 years?
4 or 5.
Yeah. I mean,
not many.
But that was intense, really intense.
Right. And all the work that they had to get Robin out of debt so that she could get the secure loan, and all those panties that she was charging up with Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, they might have had to sell them or something to get the money.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So what's your take on Robin? Because I have such a hard time believing that she's this diabolical person, but maybe she is. Maybe I'm just naive and I'm giving her too much benefit of the doubt or something.
Robin to me is not unlike. Have you seen Get Out?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, there's a part with the keys where the guy's looking for keys. He's trying to get out, the titular part. And she's holding the keys and he's thinking like, this is my ally. This is my girlfriend. And she's like, oh, I got the keys. I've been having them the whole time. I'm going to kill you. And that's kind of what Robin is to me. Not so much murder, but I do think that she definitely does the sheen of like, I'm so innocent. I don't know what's going on. I'm constantly confused as to how the state of our family has gotten into this way, but I'm also a victim to everything is wild to me. The fact that she has made herself a victim to kids is even more wild to me. It just seems like once she got pregnant with Solomon and she didn't get the response that she wanted from a bunch of teenagers, that was basically it.
Yeah.
And it just goes it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I just, I have an issue with like weaponized incompetence. And I feel like that happens with Robin a lot. Just a lot of like, she knows, but she doesn't know, but she does know, but she's innocent, but she doesn't want to do anything. She doesn't want to like, she says that she, I want to help. I want the family to be together, but like, where's the evidence of that? Have you lifted a finger to attempt to do that? It doesn't seem like that ever happens. And that's frustrating for me.
Well, you know what I was going to say, towards when everyone was leaving, she had this was her line, was that I didn't know this when I came into the family. I didn't know about all these problems. And it's like, Robin, you sat through all those therapy sessions with Nancy and did all those exercises. And, you were there. You heard the complaints. You heard the issues. Don't now say, oh, I had no idea. And you also know that Cody was talking to her about it the whole time. So you're right. She uses that when it's convenient to be like, well, I didn't know. And, no one told me.
And she's the sister wife expert. She loves to talk about this is how it is in in the polygamy world. This is how this is what we do.
Right.
So she of anyone should know what these dynamics are. I thought it was incredibly telling, and I'm happy now. I love the fact that everyone's talking about stuff now. Like, we are not going to pretend any longer.
Yes.
And the fact that I think it was the last season where Robin doesn't want Mary to go, so she wants her to stay. And Mary finally just says, I have not seen Robin. Like, she does not hang out with me. She does not come and see me. She doesn't call.
And now we said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is what I love that they're now just putting it all out there. Like, yep, it was shit from the beginning. It's always been bad. And here you go.
I'm still shocked by the ring reveal with Mary, where Cody took the ring back and then re-gifted it to one of Robin's daughters. Like, that was such a shocking reveal.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just the cruelty of some of these things. I mean, it became just cruel. And you have no feeling for any of these women at all? That you're just going to be this cruel? You're that mad at Mary?
Completely transactional. I mean, obviously, like a lot of his issues with Christine are completely ego driven, right? Mary, I'm a little bit more confused about because he seems like he really wants to just put her out to pasture. But then he also seems to really enjoy the fact that she like is always there. Or was at least.
Yeah. Well,
I do stuff for him. You know, she would always, you know, if he needed something or whatever, she was there. Right.
Well, and that, I'm sorry, but when she was helping him get ready for his wedding to Robin, I mean, those two wanted to get down hardcore with poor Leon right there. But you could see there was chemistry. There was something happening between the two of them. So that's the part that's hard to believe. I mean, he and Christine, they never seemed to have like a spark between the two of them. He definitely had more of a spark with Janelle and Mary. But I thought much more Mary than, you know, Janelle.
I think he was upset with Mary that she didn't want to do the IVF or pursue that.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
That they couldn't have afforded that.
Well, they probably thought that, I don't know, the show would pay for it or something. I don't know. I think it was just the whole concept because, you know, bearing children is so important in that culture. And whether he says it or not, I think he looked at her differently when she wasn't willing to do whatever was possible to have more kids with him.
That was selfish.
Smart of her at the end for her to say, like, now that I'm seeing how he treats these children, how would my second child have fared in this whole situation?
Totally.
Ooh, that was really insightful on Mary's end.
Yeah. Well, she keeps posting all of these things about this Worthy Up. Is she doing what's happening? Is she trying to, is this a retreat?
Well, here's the thing, Tess. I'm also blocked by Mary, so I'm not really sure.
Oh, no!
Oh, no, we're going to have to start forwarding things to you so you know what's happening.
I do get videos every once in a while. Viewers will send, or listeners will send me the videos. To me, like, you have to download it first before you send it to me because I can't see it. You can't just send me a straight link.
Oh, wow.
I did sort of deserve that one a little bit more, but still not quite. Not quite.
Do you know what was the tipping point there?
Yeah, this was in probably her most strong announcement that she and Cody were breaking up. I don't know if this was like the official one, but it was very much like I get it. I'm single. She said something along the lines of like, I don't want to hear any sort of, you know, duh, Mary, like finally, you know, the typical comments that you would expect from people talking about Mary leaving. And so I simply commented, okay. And then a lot of people laughed. And I think she didn't like that.
That was so innocuous.
Wow.
Wow.
She's very sensitive.
What about Christine? Are you blocked by Christine?
Not blocked by Christine. We're good. Me and Christine are good.
Thank goodness. Whew.
And Robin's not on social, is she? She's not. I never see her.
I don't think Robin's been on since the tide started turning against her. I don't think she's been on Instagram since 2020.
I thought the tide has always been against her, but I guess it's really bad now.
Yeah. She and Cody, they don't post anymore at all. I'm surprised. I don't know why they just don't close down the account, but I guess they want to spy on other people. But
please don't, because I will open an account with Cody Brown. I will open that username.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see how they handle this next season. Yeah. It'll be very interesting.
It will be.
I agree. Because I imagine that most of the season, if not all of it, was already done. And that anything that happened recently was probably going to be season 20.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because I think this upcoming season was supposed to be like David and Christine's
wedding
and leading up to the wedding and whatever else was going on at the same time. You know, like Maddie had a baby and, you know, the things were happening.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll tack this on to that.
Yeah, I hope they don't do the thing that maybe the Kardashians did with Khloe and Tristan and the second baby, or well, you see a lot of times where it's like this one episode where we're going to just talk about all of this in one episode and then we're never going to talk about it again. And it never comes up. And my concern is they're going to just do this one episode, maybe in the beginning, and then be like, okay, well, here's the season. We have it all done. Here you go. And I just, I don't think that you need to be heavy handed with it and talk about it in every episode. But I do think that you've got to have some kind of through line. You can't just pretend, that this isn't. That yes, what we're watching might be before Garrison passed, but at the same time, it's still, we're all living in it. We're all experiencing it. So I could imagine
I'm sure he's in this. I'm sure he's in a lot of the episodes.
And what do they do? Do they cut those? Do they show them? Do they talk about? So that's the thing. I think that if some situations show up, it'd be good to have like a therapist come in. I know Nancy's not popular amongst people, but it doesn't have to be Nancy, somebody to just come in and talk.
Right. Yeah. There was, I don't know if you guys have watched Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but there was a housewife, Taylor Armstrong, whose husband committed suicide, and then they had a very special episode at the beginning of the season, which had a lot of backlash because people thought it was a little too soon.
And I do think that you're right that they had that first episode where everyone gathered together and talked about it. But it was a lot to then see, 2 episodes later, Taylor, really thin, crying.
Right.
It just took on a life of its own. And I think that's why people were upset or just didn't feel like they handled it well.
Really tough situation. I think the best way to go about it is to let Janelle kind of lead the way and say this is what I want. This is how I want to let things shake down. This is how I want to tell the story, and respect that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, however the family wants to deal with it.
So, had you been watching Seeking Sister Wife before?
So I had heard about it when they started airing season 2, and then I went back and was like, wow. And TLC has a very special way of these early seasons of these types of shows tend to start off a little bit more wholesome-ish. But now we're just in full drama and mess, and I'm having fun. But yeah, I've seen the whole thing.
The best way. Yeah, I think this is like one of the best seasons.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
Ever.
Well, I think these Merrifields are. I mean, they're gold. I mean, where did you find these people?
Wow.
I mean, it's too good.
I don't know how Garrick does anything in his life. It's incredible that he even breathes on his own and eats. I'm always shocked when a man can get any woman, much less multiple ones. Like how?
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, and how does he support his family while he's, while his full-time job is basically pursuing Brazilian women and going to Brazil and Mexico to meet them? And,
yeah, he was in Brazil for 6 weeks. You could just leave your job, your life, everything behind for 6 weeks, and that's not a big deal.
These vacations, they're in very nice villas on these resorts and stuff. I'm very confused.
Yeah, he's leaving, his brother-in-law and Danielle behind to kind of, pick up the slack.
Maybe they're making more money on those hats than we think.
Wait, they're selling hats?
Oh, yeah. They have hats and sweatshirts, with the Merrifield
the M
logo.
on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they wear them, whenever possible. But yeah, I don't understand their finances.
Well, I have a feeling, do you think that he is a trust fund kid, that he just has tons of money and that maybe this business is a little bit of a Garrick gives us the money, but he really doesn't do anything. He's like the CEO and title only, but we just kind of keep him over there and he funds it. And then we do all these other things. That's what I mean, it's the only way he could live this life and have these women want him so badly and because Natalia, I mean, you're going to give up. You just became a lawyer, like, right? You're going to give up all of this to be with him.
Allegedly. I don't know if I believe
You don't believe that she just graduated from law school?
Skeptical.
Yeah.
Because why? If you went through all that trouble to go to school and do all that, and then you're just going to up and move to another country where you don't speak the language and you can't work, and it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
To be with this guy
Him
and have to pretend to be cool with this plural lifestyle. She clearly doesn't give a crap.
All right. I guess the money wins out, right? I mean, Garrick's creepiness is, I guess you can ignore that when there's money to be had.
It's not the ring. That's for sure.
Oh God, no.
It's not that sister necklace.
No. Oof.
It's so ugly.
Horrible.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a child. It's almost like a kid wanting to get a Mother's Day gift and goes to like a jeweler and said, okay, but I want it to have hearts and like connect the hearts in together. And then can you put in these various stones and then have these things jutting out like this, right? And then you get it back and you're like, great, this is great. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes. But Garrick, he fancies himself a jewelry designer. He designed the ring too. Mm-hmm. That flower ring that looked like it was from, the 1700s or something.
Yes. She's his rose, his little rose.
Who's the family on this season that you enjoy the most, other than the Merrifields?
Oh, man. I mean, Justin and Becky are so dark, so incredibly dark-sided.
Yes.
I'm like shocked that we get to even watch this. It feels illegal. Feels like we're implicated in something. They're very, very fascinating to me. Now that we've gotten this diagnosis from Shane with the cancer, I'm finding myself even more confused as to their dynamic. Obviously, I feel for him, but I also feel like, well, what if... Fingers crossed, you're well.
What if you live for? We talked about this on when we were discussing it this week. What if you live for another 40 or 50 years?
Have we considered the fact that you might be alive? What's
right?
Like it just seems.
He acts like he's gotten. He has not gotten a diagnosis of a terminal disease or something. It's not terminal. It's being managed. He has to manage it and watch it and whatever. But as of right now, he's fine.
Right. It's the juxtaposition of like, I don't want to do the screening, but also I'm sure of my fate and we have to lock this person down immediately today. It just is stressful and confusing to me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they're out. People have found them. They're out. They're still dating. They're still looking for, apparently they've got profiles up somewhere. So they're still looking. And yeah, I mean, when they listed all the things they have going on in their lives, it's like, she's a psychiatrist. Like one of you has to stop the other one and say,
pump the brakes.
Yeah. What are we doing here? This is crazy.
I mean, at least like get into a good breastfeeding routine and maybe we can talk about it after that. Like something.
Yeah.
The desperation and then wanting to go on the show too. Cause they do seem, a lot of these people are cuckoo, but they don't seem cuckoo to me. They're curious. Like, we don't know why you're doing this, but they seem to have a lot more sense. So why are they doing this?
Yeah. Hard to say.
I don't know. I wonder if for him, he loves her so much and he feels some sort of level of guilt. Like I may not be around, or I've been sick, or I'm impacting you. Cause I think she's the breadwinner. And maybe he just feels like, okay, well, to make it up to you, I'll let you have a girlfriend and she's going to live with us.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
What do you want this woman to replace you? But you also, Brooke brought this up too, which is right. They want Shane to have a baby with this woman. So how is that going to work?
Right. I don't know, because he does not seem to have any interest in these women, which is fine. If you guys want to make a plan to have a baby, cool. I don't care. But it just seems like an like we're just we keep adding things onto this situation.
Yeah.
I think we could maybe, Chanel said, take something off first before you walk out the door. And I think maybe we need to take off like 7 days.
Good point.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Well, what about the, so who is it? It's also the Davis family.
Oh yeah.
Which what's been going on with them is kind of dragging a little bit, but poor Danielle, like a deer in the headlights.
Always.
Yeah. What do you think of, what's your take on Danielle? And
yeah. Does she have family? Do you think she has family? Do you think anyone's watching out for her?
No, it doesn't seem that way. She seems very like broken bird, like little orphan Annie. Like she just needs somebody. And yeah, there's like a neediness, codependency vibe there. And she's always just blinking through it. It just seems like she has a hard time processing. I feel for her.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm scared for her. I want her out of there, because this whole thing where they're setting her up to marry another woman and she does not want to.
Yeah.
Right.
She really doesn't want to do
that. It's very bizarre the way that they do this thing, and it's a way of controlling these women, and none of it is good. I mean, I think this is the most of all the couples and all the things we've seen. I feel like this is the most coercive kind of situation.
Yeah. They don't really seem to care why she left.
No.
And that's concerning. Yeah. It's very like, they just are like, okay, we're on a mission. Are you on board or not?
Yeah. They never asked her why she really left or even allowed her to talk about how she was feeling. It was all about, well, you left, and you have enough money to rent an apartment. So that means you haven't told us what your finances are, and we need to get, and we're not happy.
Right.
And she's poor thing is just sitting there looking like, okay, I'm sorry. And then next time when she wants to leave, it's like, oh, will she leave? Will she, do it?
Yeah.
And I think she's too scared now.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely like, April's definitely like trying to lock this down. I'm trying to make sure that you're not going to sign another lease if you feel some type of way. And yeah, it's deeply concerning. And then talking about Vera not wanting her teeth brushed and trying to manipulate her. That's sad.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah. Truly awful. Yeah. Justin and Becky, I'm sure you heard about Becky's stepfather and how, right. And this is the lineage that we're dealing with. But the fact that they basically are just like, well, you know what? There's not enough people on, polygamous apps. So let's just go on a regular app and I'll eventually tell them that I'm married.
Someone.
And trick this poor woman into coming on a date with me and then trying to like kiss her, awkwardly. I mean, he is so awkward and
he's creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy.
And she's creepier.
She's very,
weird. How did we get here?
Well, was it Yari that was asking him questions like, well, how many kids do you have? I think she's trying to understand what's going on here. And he's like, oh, well, I have 6 kids. I mean, when you hear this, like 6 kids, 20 plus years, it becomes, this isn't just like, oh, I'm getting out of a marriage or, oh, I've been living with someone. I mean, this is hardcore.
Very.
If I was Yari, I'd be livid.
About the kids too. He was like, yeah, I have kids. Yeah. She's like, okay, how many? I'm 6.
Yeah. And who else? It's the Salahuddins who are just kind of like,
Yeah, they're lost.
Yeah.
They don't know where they're
Do you think we'll see them again?
They just seem so produced. It seemed like this Keisha from Atlanta, we were really hinging on this person who was obviously a catfish to me. Who knows who Keisha is or if she ever lived in Atlanta. And then they were like, well, we don't have anybody else. What's curious to me is why we didn't get back Sidian and Tasha. I have to think about what their real names are because I call her Squeaky, like Squeaky From, and that's me. But they were pretty interesting the last couple seasons. Like they went to Asia to meet that woman, and I'm surprised that they didn't come back.
Because I didn't watch last season, but
Maybe
what were
just
they?
over it.
They were from like Portland or Seattle. They were like kind of like hippie, kind of like vibey. He had a lot of rings. She was like very sweet and always looked at him. And she was, they were not creepy, not quite creepy, but just strange.
So, but it wasn't a religious thing. It was more of the, we want to expand our family, or this is what we want.
Yeah. Just very like Pacific Northwest vibes. I don't know.
Well, and also he had a couple of kids and he was the primary parent.
Yes.
Like the mother was out of the picture. So Tasha was their mother, was.
She was the Robin of the situation, where she had come in as a sister wife, and then the original mother didn't like it, so she left the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Interesting. And so they also were searching, but by the end of the season, they didn't find anybody? He
had gone to be with this woman, and they were like, last we left them, I think they were on pretty good terms, but I think they've since broken up. But when we saw them, everything was good. Things were going well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was from the Philippines.
Yeah. She was really pretty.
Yeah.
Psych Legal Pop will be back after these messages. Are you feeling lost or uncertain about your future? It's time to discover the true you. This is Tess Brigham from Psych Legal Pop podcast, and I want to tell you about my book, True You. In True You, I delve into the 6 key issues we all face during our quarter-life crises. From career dilemmas to relationship struggles, this book provides simple tools and techniques to navigate each challenge. True You is your roadmap to personal growth. Even if you're not experiencing a quarter-life crisis, True You will help you get to know yourself on a deeper level. If you're ready to unlock your true potential and create a life you love, pick up your copy of True You today. You can find more information on my website, www.tessbrigham.com, or it's available to purchase at Amazon.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, I have this a lot. I have clients like this where they'll be in the marriage or relationship that's not working, and they think that polygamy is the solution every single time. And I've had clients that have been like, okay, we're just going to have an open relationship. I'm like, oh, Jesus, let's see how this goes. Polyamory, sorry.
Yeah.
But they think that, we're not happy together. Maybe it's because we want to explore other things or we're bored or whatever it is. And it's a bit of like, just bringing people in isn't going to make the two of you love each other more.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more people's more talking. More feelings, right?
Yeah,
every time you add someone, it's new energy, new person. Like the flower lady, she had it. She knew.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and we have this theory that basically, like with the Salahuddins, that Naeem is just kind of a cheater, and Nyla wants to maybe have some control over the cheating. So it's like, okay, we'll bring in someone. You can also be with her, but I can like keep an eye on you. And I'll know what you're doing.
Yeah. So it's not really cheating if I'm controlling it or if I'm overseeing it.
If we're in a relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if Naeem, granted they went on that date with that 12-year-old, so that wasn't helping, but I wonder if he's slowly going to realize that like, like you said, like maybe he just wants to cheat, but ultimately I think he just wants Nyla. Like, I don't think he wants to deal with anybody else's personality.
No,
not even his mother.
He just wants to have sex.
No, he just wants to have sex.
Yeah.
That's all he wants.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is or what the solution is, but it's definitely not adding someone. Yeah. It's definitely not bringing someone in. And then going online, like he wants to meet people in person. And she's like, well, I want to do it online. It's like, oh, this is going to take you guys forever to get there.
It's going to be years.
Yeah.
Right. Like eventually you're going to have to meet this person in person. So, I mean, I don't know what the thinking is behind them, but love and light.
Yeah.
Well, so we both used to watch a lot of Housewives. Mm-hmm. I took a break from it in 2020 when the world was burning. I was like, I just can't watch these women, and I've come back. But do you have like a favorite franchise?
Oh, Atlanta and Potomac have held my heart, and New York. New York, I think, has stood the test of time. As like New York and Atlanta, I think, are my two. Potomac is like my new girl. But yeah, those are my three. I can really take or leave New Jersey. I really also love Miami. Beverly Hills, I like it, but it's almost like it's like my family. Like I feel committed to them, but I'm not really having a great time.
It's like an obligation. Like I gotta watch the show now. Yeah, sometimes these shows feel like an obligation. You know, where you just like, I gotta stay in it. I can't miss a thing. Well, so I heard that both that this last season of Potomac and the last season of Atlanta were not very good.
It's been bad.
So and now, I mean, Candy's leaving, and I mean,
that's a big loss.
Yeah, that's a huge loss, and then they're bringing Portia back, which I think is good. And then you got Kenya, but everybody else, I'm like, who are you? Everyone else feels relatively new.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I like Drew. I think she's messy. I think her relationship with her husband, Ralph, was awful and really prime for television. But yeah, I'm nervous about this next season. Candy's been my favorite housewife forever.
Yeah.
And I'm a Candy apologist. I don't care that people think she's boring. I'm with her and I'm waving the flag. So I'm really upset that she's not going to be back.
She's boring because she's sane.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't get crazy. She has a normal reaction to things. That's why she's boring, right?
Exactly.
She's not messy.
Right.
You know?
So I'm nervous. I liked Portia historically, but I do think that there was a point where she got very popular and got a little bit in her head a bit, and I wasn't enjoying that. Like, I liked Portia when she's calling herself the princess of Thoughtlandia and it's just like working around and being drunk. That's the Portia I like. And I don't know if we're going to get her back.
Yeah, single Portia. Do you know what I mean? Like, because once she dumped Cornell, it was Cornell, right? Cordell, the football player. Yeah. Once she dumped him and it was just her on her own,
fun.
Great. Yeah. And then, she has the baby with that guy and then he seemed to disappear. I don't know what happened to him.
Making hot dogs somewhere.
And then all of a sudden I read something that she's with this new guy and now they're married and now they're divorced. Crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah. He's causing a lot of problems. He keeps issuing, what do you call it? Like when a reward for anybody who can prove that he has cheated in his marriage. He's gone up to $500,000 now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody's been asking for this.
Right.
I was put it on Instagram sometimes.
Why does he need this information? I mean,
but is she accusing him of this? Is this a big...
I don't think anybody cares. I don't know that anybody asked. It's just like, Wednesday at 2:32 in the afternoon, here comes Simon threatening to pay people to see if he cheated. I don't know.
Well, does that guy have real money? That was the other issue too. He was shady. It was very, very shady what he was doing.
Yeah. He's had a very easy breezy relationship with the U.S. Immigration Services in that he just will stay here and doesn't really care that he's supposed to be going back to Nigeria. And so that's been a big issue because he's been trying to get citizenship. And they're like, but sir, you've spent several decades staying in this country and not going back. And you know that. And we know that. And you know that we know that. And you've been doing this since the 80s. So we're not going to do And he seems shocked by that. But if you just look at the evidence, it's very obvious, that that's not going to work out for you. Much like, Joe Giudice in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, the reckoning comes.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Well, let's talk about the Valley. Because I've been watching Vanderpump Rules. I missed a few seasons. With Vanderpump Rules, I missed seasons 8 and 9.
That's
because I really hated, like, it drove me nuts when they started to make money and they were buying these homes and these people that are 10 years younger than me, like living in a house 3 times the size of my house. I'm like, these idiots, how dare they?
Right.
This isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Right. So I got very triggered by the homes and it was also people are getting married, having babies. Right. But so you would think in theory, well, would I really want to watch these people with kids and babies and all this? And it's like, yes, we would.
Yes,
we really want to watch this show. So what are your thoughts on the Valley so far?
I'm so disappointed at how good it is. I mean, good is not the word. Good's not the word. But it's like compelling. It's compelling.
Yeah.
Jesse Lally is one of the worst human beings. And it's so shocking that we can say that he's on a show with Jax Taylor, and yet he manages to be significantly worse. That's incredible. That's incredible work. He's evil. Michelle kind of letting her evilness bloom a little bit in the last episode too.
Yeah.
I feel for, I mean,
they're both kind of.
Yeah. I don't think Michelle's any better because the sense that, and as you learn, the sense that you get from Michelle is she basically admitted she really was just on she just wanted a one night stand. And they just she basically said, and I just kind of kept you around because you were here. Mm-hmm. And now she's dating. And she's out dating people.
Yeah, and they're already separated.
Well, yeah, but she was dating someone before they got separated. Yeah. And so in the world of Vanderpump Rules and cheating and Scandival and everything that's happened, like somehow, okay, so this is okay for Michelle to do it just because everyone hates Jesse? If you're a nice person, it's okay. It's, it just seems so odd.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. It's very odd. These people, wow. Like, I really thought that we were going to be fed this like boring milquetoast.
Yeah.
Jax pretending to be a good boy in Valley Village and
family values. Yeah.
Right. And Brittany just chuckling away. And I also thought when, like, leading up to the season, when they were like, oh, Jax and Brittany are separated, thinking, oh, this is all for the show. They're just going to like capitalize on another sort of Scandival adjacent wave. And we're just going to see like, y'all are going to see what happened to me and Jax, and it's so much worse than I expected.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Jax is the gift that just keeps on giving. I mean, he cannot keep it together for anything. Even when he's supposed to be pretending to be a good husband and father, he can't keep it together.
Not at all. But
in comparison to Jesse, he seems like just so charming.
Normal. Well, I don't know. Like, so I've never seen Vanderpump Rules. I mean, I know the people because you can't help but pick up on all this stuff if you watch reality TV at all. But watching this, I just can't believe like how awful Jax is. And this is like a mature version of Jax. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what he was like before, but he just talks constantly. His energy is just like, I mean, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Whitney's exhausting too. She's the same. Her whole energy. I find these people super exhausting, and Kristen is super exhausting. And so, yeah, I've watched like 2.5 episodes of this, and I'm like, I'm definitely in. I'm like sucked in.
Yes.
But but I thought it was going to be so different. I thought it was going to be much more about really actually like people maturing and having families and this and that. And it is a tiny bit, but really it's just drama from episode 1. People doing things that piss other people off, and so said this to me, and the tattling, and
You're Republican.
That guy with the hair, is that a wig?
No, he says it's his real hair. He says it's his real hair.
Apparently it's real.
It's styled very oddly because it looks like he's got so much hair on top here and that he's done a little bit of like a comb thing.
I would like to see him run a comb through it because I feel like it's break immediately.
I don't think it would work.
Yeah.
I feel like it looks like a wig.
Well,
it's like a dark George Washington wig. It's like one of those big poofy powder wigs.
Well, we get some of the family stuff with, is it Nia and Danny and Nia, who are the two normal people there, 3 under 2, right? And so I feel like with them, I feel like a much more realistic version of what it's like to be, a parent. He's a working actor. And there's a lot of these working actors in LA, right? That like, you kind of sort of know their faces, but they're not famous, but they're working, and they make a living. And the fact that they live in this condo, which is like, that's what you can afford.
Right.
They live in this condo together and she's trying to piece her business back together. But it sounds like they had these twins really quickly, after the first one. So, and she's now dealing with postpartum and, she's crying, at the drop of a hat. And I think they're very realistic.
Yeah, they're more realistic. And she was Miss USA, right?
I think so.
Yes. That's the one who was Miss USA.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
Yeah. I really feel for them because it's hard to watch these scenes where Kristen's like, you're a racist probably. And then Mia's like, I have like a real problem.
Yeah.
I have like an adult issue. You guys are just yelling at each other. Can we talk about real stuff? They're like, no, but we're so sorry for you.
Yeah. So they seem to have the most quote unquote, like normal relationship. I can't put my finger on Janet. Like, is Janet as messy? Is Janet messy? Because I do believe that Janet probably said this. Oh, I bet you she's a Republican. And all Republican. And maybe she then made another comment like, and maybe she said and racist or and, all Republicans, or I don't know, but she said that.
She 100% said that. And we all know what the implication of that is.
Right.
Like, we all know. I do believe Janet to be a very messy person in her life. And we will get into that, but I know this to be true.
Okay.
Yes.
But her husband is so different. He's just a straight-laced, like, earnest guy. They're
like, I don't even think he knows he's on a show.
No, barely.
I think he's just kind of wandering through, just waiting for this baby to come.
Yeah.
But yes, Jesse's an awful person, but I also think that we need to give a little bit more shit to Michelle because
definitely
what Michelle is doing is not okay. I mean, if you want to be, if the roles were reversed, he would be crucified. If they found out that he'd been, texting and dating, because apparently she's going out all the time, lying, saying I'm having girls' nights, but it's not really girls' nights because she's not taking photos. I mean, she's doing a lot of shady stuff and kind of acting like it's our problem. Like it's like, no, you signed up for the show.
Right.
And while you were doing this stuff. So don't pretend like we have no business.
And also, also like maybe don't tell Kristen Doty of all people.
Oh God.
What you're doing if you don't want this to come out on television.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that Kristen has no like,
I know.
No self-control, no filter. And I've only watched her for a couple episodes and I'm just like, whoa. And then I see all these flashbacks to Vanderpump Rules and it's like, like, lady, you're 40 years old. Like, get it together. Like, grow up and get it together. And I love how she's, I love this, where I guess she broke up with the boyfriend and had to move out, but she's moving down the hall. Is that right? She's in the same apartment building. And she's like, well, this unit's bigger. I just figured for $73 more a month, like I just get a bigger place. And I'm like, $73, you think you're doing something? Like it's like she's a high schooler moving into her first like apartment by herself. I mean, she just seems so like mentally immature.
Well,
and she's 40.
And back in Vanderpump Rules, she would say her big thing. I remember, I think it was season 2 where she came back and she's like, I'm 30 and I'm so sick of taking orders from Lisa Vanderpump. And how dare she order me around? It's like, listen, this is your job, the job that you lucked into getting on this show.
Yeah.
But this has been her thing. I'm 30, so therefore X, Y, and Z. I'm 35, therefore this. I'm 40.
Yeah.
It's all this like 40 and the valley's where I need to be. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You know, I think she's one of these people that's like, okay, well, I will, you know, I'll change my whole life, you know, once the summer's over. You know, she's one of those people.
Yeah.
I'm going to
get it together. Yeah. I'll quit smoking next month.
Yes, exactly. That is her. Yeah. That is her. So she just kind of goes from, and she hops. I mean, and the thing is, she always finds men. She goes from relationship to relationship to relationship.
Incredible.
I mean, this woman is never single.
And she's
got a little bit of the Tom Sandoval disease.
It's really interesting to see. I dated a guy who dated a girl who felt very like Kristen. Like they were starting to talk to each other and he'd be like, she's so crazy. Like, I can't deal with her. She's a bitch. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, I can't do without her. And like, it's just so like, how do we get here? And then 9 months later, he's like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And then he's back. Right. And I feel like this is what happens with Kristen. Like she really can keep a man.
Yeah. Well, I think that her relationships always start hot and heavy. I think they, you know, and there's a lot of drama and turmoil. And I think that, but she just doesn't break up with these people. So I think like the first year is good-ish, but then she's with, like, she and Tom Sandoval were together 6 years. I mean, they were cheating on each other and, you know, not happy with each other, I think, for the last 4.
Oh, she was with Sandoval?
Yes. She was with, when the show, this is why this, you have to go watch.
I don't have the time.
I have goosebumps that you realizing that she and Sandoval were together. Oh, what a journey. What a journey.
I'm so innocent.
Yeah, so innocent. Well, so yeah, she when Vanderpump Rules started, she and Tom Sandoval were dating. They lived together. And they were in this very serious relationship. And that was season 1. And then season 2 was he had cheated on her and she spent the entire season mad at him for cheating. And then it was revealed that she had slept with Jax. And
oh wow.
And when these people sleep with each other, it's always messy and right, because Brooke and I were covering some of these things before we hopped on of, you know, Jax with the elderly woman in the same room and Faith. And then we've got like Kristen and Jax on a couch when Tom's in the other room. I mean, these people just really,
and he really
it has to be dangerous
to do it in like the bathrooms of SUR or any public restroom. Like he likes, I think he's got a fetish for getting caught in something.
Sandoval or
Jax?
Yeah, oh, Jax. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's your take on Brittany? Because everyone makes her out to be the saint, and I'm like, no.
You know? I mean, anybody can put on a Southern accent and sound innocent. You know, like we could all do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they really propped her up as like, she came from Kentucky. She lives in LA now. We have to protect her. When she met this man at a Vegas party and knew who he was, she knew he was Jax Taylor. And like, God bless her. If you want to do it well, you know? But like, I'm not going to act like she was just like some Kentucky rose plucked into LA and like we did like an innocent little girl. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not willing. Brittany clearly has like some dark things in her life. She definitely seems to be drinking too much and coping with this relationship with Jax. I have empathy for her with that, but you know, she's also very like problematic in her own way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be hitting the bottle if I was with Jax.
Oh, yeah. You had to live with him. My God.
Oh, he must be.
I think I would have to be like numbed out at all times. His energy is just, it's too much.
And this is with a camera. This is what you have a camera in your house, and this is how you're behaving.
This is your best behavior.
You cannot imagine. And I'm sure he ridicules her and rides her about maybe that fact that her weight.
Oh,
I bet you he rides her about the drinking. We saw that already. You know, I think And apparently he does nothing with the kid. And even when the kid cries and he's like, you got it?
Right.
You going to take care of that? Like,
very
doesn't even bother getting up and seeing what's going on.
Yeah. He's out of it.
You know, and I'm glad, I hope this sticks, and I'm glad that she is, she's leaving. But yeah, I didn't like this narrative of she's this innocent girl because, you know, even if she was from Kentucky and even if she didn't know him, she still agreed to move to LA, live with this person, get the boob job. Like, you could have said no to the boob job, like get the plastic surgery, be on the show. And you knew he was a cheater. He cheated on you when you were dating. You knew he was not going to be faithful. And so, and even through all of this, you kept saying yes. And it's like, yeah, because I think the fame and all of that other kind of stuff. And I'm sure they were staying together because they felt like they had no choice but to stay together. Yeah. Because that's their quote unquote brand.
Money.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. And they have to have a house. They have a house payment and, you know, bills and stuff and a kid. So yeah, they're stuck with each other for as long as this will write itself out.
Yeah. Well, the whole Valley Vanderpump Rules world, I am so fascinated by the finances because, I don't think they got paid anything in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, I think they really started to make some money from it. And then I think they got a lot of deals, and then they started to get appearance fees. Like, things started stacking up and they all started to make more and more money, yet they're all broke.
Right.
I mean, that's the other part. They all live in these beautiful homes, but Tom Schwartz is in an apartment and Katie's in an apartment.
Well, I'll back up. Some of them have, like, Jesse and Michelle have a gorgeous home.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like, the condo, who are the ones living in
it's Danny and Nia?
Yeah. And then the Janet and what's her husband's name? Jason. They live in a very modest house.
I have not looked around. Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a house, and it's, you know, I mean, a house is a house. It's nice, but, like, no, they're not making a lot of money.
Well, but I think that what happened
not from the show.
Yeah. But what's so fascinating about it is they've been on the show forever. They've now made a bunch of money. Then they all went out and, like, created restaurants and bought homes, like, really invested their money in things that were not going to pay off for a long time.
Right.
And not really realizing that, you know, that's not the best idea. And on top of all that, they're at this level now where, and you saw it with Kristen, right? Where they can't go and get jobs. They can't just go, they can't do mainstream TV and movies. Yeah. They can't go and just get a, like, you know, welcome to Starbucks. Can I help you? Like, they can't get that kind of job. And then the idea of leaving it and going back home is a nightmare. Yeah. So they're really stuck staying in this world of toxic people and continuing to do this over and over again in order to, like, live. And and the thing is, they're all in their 40s. Like, you guys are all going to live another 40 years. I mean, can you really be doing, I mean, can this really go on? I'm very nervous for them. I just feel like they're all going to end up broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're certainly spending like this money's never going to end, you know? Like, I could see how that happens when you're making easy money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to, you know, like, they're not rocket scientists. Like, let's be real, this is like very easy money, relatively speaking. And you're getting invited to things and they're like, oh, let's take a trip. I'm going to buy the whole Shein collection, you know, like, no problem. And you know, we're getting a stylist and they're probably spending so much money and we got teams of people. And, like, I don't know why Lala has a team of people, but I guess she does. And it's very, very tenuous. And I liked Ariana saying, I was in a real big hole, started making good money, and then I'm buying this $1 million house, and then I'm kind of back at zero. Just as broke, but it just looks better, you know? Yeah.
Well, she'll get her money. Money.
Yeah, she's making money now. She's really making money now.
She's filed a lawsuit. The house is going to force, you know, she's forcing a sale. She's going to get her money out of that house.
Yeah,
she'll get it.
She's in the best financial position, I believe, at this point. But the flip side of it, and this is, Brooke, this is what's so fascinating about Vanderpump Rules, is we're watching the show and we're watching the scandal it's happened and it was last season. But what's happened now is we're watching the aftermath and how Ariana is making all this money and everyone is jealous, like so bitter and so jealous, but they can't say that they're jealous because they need to be nice to Ariana because she's the queen of whatever. Yeah. And it's this weird dynamic where they're, and then Lala kind of flips out and, stops being friends with people. And then it becomes this big thing. I mean, that's what's so fascinating about it is, yeah, you have to you have no choice but to capitalize on send it to Daryl sweatshirts. You have no choice. Right. And that's the part, like, I don't begrudge them for doing what they're doing. But at the same time, it's like, it feels really trapped in this cycle. And it's like, what's your exit plan? What is anybody's exit plan?
Right. And that's what we're seeing, I think, happening with Lala now is like, she's flailing. She's like lashing out. She's talking a lot of trash about Ariana and Katie. And it just very much is evident that she's thinking, we got to keep this show going, and it doesn't matter, and maybe I can take the mask off and we can laugh when the cameras are down, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep this drama going. And I imagine very annoying to people like Ariana and Katie who are like, oh, this isn't my actual life. I don't really need you going on an Amazon Live and talking shit about me. I don't. Yeah, I don't need that.
What's up with these Amazon Lives? Why is everyone doing Amazon Lives? Is everyone selling things on Amazon? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Every time I see Lala, she's just crying or mad at us. I don't know what she's doing, and I'm not going to find out.
I like that.
You have to pay. Do you have to pay to watch those or what?
No. You can't possibly have to pay. I think that but is she selling her products, Give Them Lala? And my question is, she has this whole makeup line. I do not know one person that uses that makeup line. Not one person.
Not one.
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, honestly, the smartest person was probably Stassi, who I think she decided not to go on the Valley. And I think she started that podcast early, which was smart. And she wrote books that I don't think she's really writing, but she found her place,
her audience.
And
for sure.
And she found her audience and she found the people that would like her and like her particular brand of I don't know, her attitude or whatever.
We'll admit it.
and that, she can, so now she has this audience of people that really like her and really enjoy her. And so they will continue to buy or watch or see what she's doing. So I think her, cutting off and going that way. But what I found so interesting with the Valley was just hearing about Kristen and how her being fired from the show and the impact of that. And the fact that she probably was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my rent or mortgage? Right. She just bought a house.
Right.
So anyway, we've been talking forever. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I just looked at the time. I'm so sorry
to keep you.
Yes. So tell everybody where to find you, plug whatever you share everything with us.
Yeah, my podcast is called Everyone's Business But Mine. You can listen to that everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can follow me on Instagram at Everyone's Business But Mine. And I have a Patreon at patreon.com/EBBM podcast.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was nice. We'll have to catch up after the season is over.
Yes. We should do a whole Valley deep dive, and then I'm going to get Brooke to watch Vanderpump Rules.
I'll try to catch. I can't watch the entire series, but I'll try to watch a few things.
Yeah. Okay. Check it out. Yeah, we'll definitely catch up soon.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. And for us here at what's the name of our podcast?
Cyclical Pop.
Cyclical Pop. I'm tired. So please check us out. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Cyclical Pop. So go check us out over there. Please subscribe and review the show. Those always really help us. And you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Cyclical Pop. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.